What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Normally I say happy Monday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm excited to be here. I have a great guest. We are accommodating because she is busy on her wild ride called life. So we're going to be excited to talk to her in a little bit. But I wanted to say hi and welcome to my streamcast. I love being here with everyone and talking about mental health, disability, and trauma. We love to create conversations, to create acceptance and opportunities. I always like to give a little trigger warning as sometimes that we can discuss things that can be difficult or mature in nature. But these are our experiences and they might help someone, benefit someone else, and maybe even save a life. So welcome to everyone that's here hanging out with us. I'm excited. I'm your host, DJ, and visual descriptor. I'm a female Latina brunette with silver streaks and olive skin, brown eyes, and I'm wearing a big smile today with purple lipstick and a green shirt. Might seem like someone else's shirt. We don't know yet. Positive affirmations. So welcome, everyone. Wanted to take a moment to just say hi, and it's exciting to be here. Please, thank you if you're here, you're supporting, you're on LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. I'm excited. Drop a comment. Let us know where you're checking in from. And as always, thank you to Restream for always pumping out this show. And today we got to pair, which is an amazing feature that Restream has. I got to talk to my guest a little bit about all the functionalities about Restream. We talked about the analytics. We talked about the pairing feature. We talked about the layout and all the different things that Restream does compared to other service providers. So check out Restream if you haven't. All right, friends, let's get on to it. I'm excited. I want to just make a quick announcement that we are in season 4 and I'm really proud. I'm accepting sponsorship, so please feel free to contact me if anyone would like to be interested in that. So, okay, I see some people in the chat and we're going to get to it because I don't want to make anybody wait on our guests. So we're going to get ready to go ahead and welcome our guest. She shares truths as an Army. She's retired and a disabled combat veteran. She's a mother and a military spouse. I cannot wait to hear her story. She's currently the founder of a wild ride called Life. She's written a book. She has a blog where she shares her personal story. She's also a podcaster, the host of the Truths We Hide podcast. And she shares her story also on the stage as a motivational speaker. She's now currently working with artists and songwriters and musicians, and she's continuing her wild ride as an independent artist. I'm so excited to invite Miss Annette Whittenburger.
Yes, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for accommodating me because of my schedule. And thank you guys all for being here.
Oh, well, that's just life, right? That's the way
Yes.
life goes. And for me, that's important. I kind of shared that with you in the back, stage when we were chit-chatting, and just how for me, that's just one of the things that I guess, I feel it's important for others to accommodate them based on their needs. And given that show is called A Wild Life, your wild life, that's just part of it, right? This is part of what's going on with you. So I know you're going to tell us a little bit about all the things. And I did mention lots of things. So, all right. Let's see who is here today. Let's get into the chat real quick. Mackenzie's here. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much. And I know you know who this person is. The Lounge with Legends is here. Marty, I know you're back there behind that. So thank you for hanging out with us. Tonight is awesome with 2 amazing women. Thank you so much for supporting us today, fellow veteran. So we appreciate, we want to, say thank you. Hi, Robert. Thank you for popping in. It's a Tuesday, and I appreciate you popping through. And Rosemary's here. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Annette. She says hi to you. So I'm excited to have you. I know you've had a long day, just like everybody, but it really does mean a lot to me that you're here and we get to talk about all these important things that we have like the similarities we have, right? Being female veterans who served our country. And I, feel really proud about that. And I'm sure you do too. But I want to hear
Yeah.
about your story and your journey. I mean, you served over 20 years. You
Mm,
retired 17. I think I read it somewhere.
I retired at 17 years, 4 months.
17. Okay. Yeah,
There's a
yeah. No,
story with that too.
you. No, that's okay, but thank you for your service. That
Thank
is
you.
true dedication and commitment. So tell us a little bit about your military background and your childhood and kind of where this started, the young Annette and your wild ride.
Oh Lord, let's see. I was definitely the black sheep. I am stubborn, Latina, all those things. And so I didn't even realize that I had a family that served until
Mm,
later, much later in my life. I had a grandfather who served in the Peruvian Air Force, and I had an uncle who served in the Army with the um, 3rd Brigade, 1st Infantry Division. And I didn't know that till many years later in my life. So, but I didn't grow up around the military. When I wanted to enlist, I actually got scared. So I went to an all girl Catholic high school, not by
oh, okay.
choice. My mom
Okay.
forced me to. So I did that 7th through 12th grade. And so I had a friend who enlisted, and I thought it was so badass. I was like, oh my gosh, she's such a rebel. No one ever does that. Like everybody at that school, we go off into larger universities, and that was the thing. Not me, though. I went to community college. I got too scared to enlist. I had the recruiter at my house, and I was like, I can't do this yet. So I went to community college and I sought out a university that had the ROTC program. I said, I'm going to figure this out one way or another. And so I went to Arizona State University for a boy at that time. We didn't last very long. And I decided I have to stay. I have to prove something to myself. I need to prove that I can do this on my own. And I decided to do ROTC. And in my mind, because they let you try out, they let you do the training, but then there's a cutoff time. But like, all right, it's time to make your decision. Are you going to commission or not? And at that time, I was like, okay, let's just try it out. Had no idea. And then I met my husband and I ended up following him around for many years because I did not know what the heck I was doing. I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to do this army thing. I'm just going to, every time he excels, I'll just push harder and I'll be the best I can be. And then unfortunately at 17 years, I got passed up for promotion, and that was devastating to me. So I did not get selected for lieutenant colonel. And that was very hard for me to admit, to just live with, right? I felt like a failure. And so that's when everything really just hit me all at once, like my past, my trauma. I just felt like a complete failure, and I had no, like, I didn't know who I was because I wore that uniform, and that uniform helped me hide all those
Yes.
things.
Yes. Yes.
So I was a master at hiding, at wearing those masks, at becoming somebody else. And I didn't have that anymore. So I had to really face all my shit. And I didn't know how to do that. So
Wow.
that's that short version.
That's all
Yeah.
right. I mean, that is really intense in itself. I really can feel the emotion in your voice when you say how devastating that could be. I mean, you served 17 years. And yes, I have to agree with what you say about hiding behind the uniform. You do lose yourself. Again, my service was 4 years, not 17, but I've heard so many similar stories. And now oftentimes it can happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen with men, but it does happen with women. And I did all female women's veterans cohort where we
Mhm.
really talked about these kinds of different things that come up. And it was really powerful and it was really insightful just learning about other women and their experience in the military and how similar we are and the things we've been through, and then yet how different it can be. But that was one of those things that did come up, and so it's not, that uncommon. And that's where you are like feel lost, and that transition.
Yeah, and that's the thing people don't see, because when I was given that option to retire, and or finish out my time in the guard or the reserves, and I chose the retirement because it just made more sense at that time. But I had a lot of my friends say, "Man, I'm so jealous you get to retire," but they didn't really understand that I am completely devastated. This is embarrassing. Like, I wasn't good enough and I didn't do enough, or so all those things came into my mind. So, yes, I'm very blessed to have been given the option to retire, but it was hard. It was really, really hard. And you're right, a lot of us don't talk about that. It's very hard to talk about not serving our 20 years, or the trauma we went through, or the transition process. Transition was That sucked for me. That 1 week long course, or the classes they put you through, that they try, but they need to try harder. So they do. They completely go over the mental health aspect of it. They prepare you for resumes, how to dress, how to talk, how to be a human or normal,
A civilian, right? They're
a
trying to prep you to
civilian.
be a civilian. Get out
How,
there and be a good civilian.
yeah. But they forgot that some of us are struggling big time, while we're sitting in class. Like, I didn't even want to do a resume. I had no idea what the hell I was going to do. And just, I could talk about it for hours, but it needs to be fixed for sure, because it's not as helpful as they think it is. Because a lot of the guys go out and um, they're completely lost. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, I was looking through your bio and your background, and you've done some work on that, right? Like really helping other veterans transition. And you really felt like this was very instrumental, like moving to you. Like it was very difficult. And I mean, I had so many components, right? So many different aspects that you don't know, and you don't know where you're going and what you're going to do and who you're going to be now.
Hmm.
What are you going to wear every day? You
Hmm.
have to think about what you have to wear every day. Or again, transitioning into the workforce, the civilian sector. I've heard lots of different stories about those experiences, and again, how difficult it can really, really be. So is is that what prompted you to write the book? Like to just what
I
did you
think
do with all that? I guess is what I'm saying. What did you make? You tell me what you started to do with all these feelings of overwhelm and sadness. And I mean, how did you start working through that?
I I was at the point of being done with life. I had already suffered through that years before, but this time it was like, what else do I have? And yes, I had my kids. I have a family, but at when we go through that dark spot, that doesn't matter, unfortunately. Like, it's all about you, and it could be selfish, it could be whatever you want to call it, but had no I had nothing left. I was completely ashamed. And I had to be reminded that I served. I should be proud. I had kids that were looking up to me. I had a life still, and it took me a long time to see that. And so I knew I had to do something or I wasn't going to make it. And so for me, I don't know why I decided to put it on social media, because my family is very quiet. Not me. I had to put it somewhere because I knew that people would see it. And it's not that I wanted I didn't want sympathy. I didn't want people to feel sorry for me. I guess I just needed an outlet, almost like how TikTok is now. I needed to feel validated. I needed to make sure that my feelings weren't, like, I wasn't losing my mind. And I did have, I had friends that reached out and was like, I understand. And I went through the same thing. They didn't voice it like I did, but I guess I needed to hear that. And so I knew I had to do something. And I got a little bit of backlash about putting it on social media. And so that really didn't stop me. I was like, well, then I'll just create a website. So I had go big or go home.
Right, right.
I had a friend who made websites. He had done something for a former soldier of mine. And I said, you know what? Let's just do it. Create me a website. and let's figure this out. And so that's what I did, and that's where A Wild Ride Called Life came from. And I kept it that way, and I just started to share my stories. But then eventually over the years it evolved into bringing other people in, because this is not just about me. It needs to be about all of us. And it's since then evolved even to a larger platform of, it doesn't just happen to veterans. We forgot about our kids, we forgot about our military spouses, we forget that my neighbor, could be suffering. We forget about those things because we're so focused on such a small space. So I I know I make joke about, I want to save the world, and people are like, you can't do that. So I continue to say it because I'm gonna try. So, and if I have to do 15,000 different things to do that, then I will. And so that's what I do now. I chose to not go back to work. I chose to try to figure this shit out. And being an entrepreneur or a speaker, whatever I do, there's a method to my madness. Because even my husband's like, you're 40, I'm 47 now, you're 47 and you still don't know what you want to be when you grow up. And I was like, nope, I'm still gonna try to figure it out. And if I could show my kids that I'm leaving a legacy for them, to know that yes, they've seen me go through a lot of dark moments, but how did I rise from that? And I think that's one of the things we needed to teach our kids too, is that yes, we go through a lot of dark storms, but you can get out of it. And we just need to find that courage and our voice to let it out. So yeah,
Wow.
I could talk
Wow.
about this forever.
That's why you're here. This is why you're here. That's why you're a speaker. That's why you're a blogger. This is why you're creative. And this is great. So embrace it. I love it. I think that is so rewarding and healing, and letting that little kid out, and exploring all those things that you didn't get to do in your 20s and 30s because you were serving, and there was work to be done at that time in a different capacity. And now you have a different work to do.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's gotten you to this amazing, beautiful place. I hope you feel like you're in a beautiful place, because it looks beautiful from the outside, that you're really empowering and building up others. And in turn, it helps you and it heals you, and you can just build that community. Let's say hi to the chat before we keep
Yeah.
moving on. Josiah is here, wonderful guest. That was
Hi.
we talked that I was telling you about self-publishing and really getting your story out and overcoming all that to really tell that story and our truth. Annette is awesome. I know.
Thank you.
So we had to. I got her memo about wearing the shirt, the
I know,
green.
right?
So
Let's
I
match.
know that was just intuition, and I think it goes with our brands, both of ours, because we both have that similar kind of green, and I love that green. Green's my favorite color. Let's see. Let's see, Mackenzie, we have all our lives to figure out what we want to do. There you go. Right. Yeah. You don't have to grow up either. Kenny, hi Kenny. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Tonight's conversation is so delectable. Scrumptious. I cannot, Kenny D. I cannot. It doesn't work.
I've never had
Edible,
a
tasty good. Yeah. I know he does that on purpose. Everybody tries to get see which streamer can actually pull it off and who gets stuck. And I get stuck. I can't, but I love it. Yeah, we gotta go big. I love that. Go big. But I'm so happy that you did make it through that dark spot and you're here, and now you can help others and empower others. We can continue to share those stories. Even Josiah, what he does, encouraging people to share their stories so we can create that community, so we can let others know that we're not alone, that you don't have to suffer alone. I think it's been powerful that we've been able as a globe to learn how to use virtual technology, and for me it's opened up my world so much and exposed me to so many amazing people that I wouldn't have met. And I know that a lot of people have said this, but for me it has been true. So just the opportunities to for me to take that plunge and say, okay, I'm going to do the show. I'm going to get out there. I want to meet people. I want to highlight these stories because that's that inner passion to help others, combat that loneliness, the depression, the suicide tendencies or the suicidal thoughts. And just, when we're at the lowest low and the darkest times, and it's like, you just hope that if anything, at least one person can say, you know what, okay, I can get through this. I can get through this moment to the next moment. But making ourselves available, right, takes courage. So, and I appreciate, your work because, again, it's so similar to mine. So I could talk about this all day
I know.
too.
I know. No, I appreciate it. Like I told you before, it still gets difficult, it's not an
Yeah.
easy topic, and every time something new comes up and it's hard to say. So,
Yeah. So I just want to talk real quick about your book before we move on, because you only have one book, and that like your story. People can find it. Let's see. Let me go ahead and see if I can share where people can get your book. I saw it at Barnes and Noble. Like, you have a hardcover, a hard copy, or soft cover,
yes,
and
a soft
is it,
cover.
and yeah, and it's also. But I did see it at Barnes and Noble, and I thought that was so cool. But I
You
have
did
your
you did? What's
yeah. Like,
where?
because I Googled it real quick, the
Okay.
title of your book, and it
Uh,
popped up that they sell it at a Barnes and Noble,
very
like,
cool.
website. But I put your website in there, and I threw it out to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm sorry,
Thank
LinkedIn,
you.
that does not go out to LinkedIn, but that's on her website. It's called A Wild Ride Called Life. So I'll go ahead and put it up. It's on her website, and then her book, The Wall Between Two Lives. Now, you don't have to tell me the whole book, but I do want to know about the title, because the title, I was like trying to figure it out, and since I haven't read the book, I couldn't figure it out. And I also have the graphic, so we're gonna have to go to this side. Here we go. This is the book. There's the book. There's the book. um the Wall Between Two Lives, and a true story of finding purpose. So, and there's a link, so please check it out and support Annette's work. But
Thanks
tell
for
me a little
sharing
bit
that,
about the
Mackenzie.
book.
So that title, gosh, yeah, no one understood it, but to me it just jumped out. It was the first thing that jumped
Mhm.
out at me because I growing up in the 80s, we didn't talk about stuff like this. I went through some childhood trauma, and
Mhm.
stuff like that just doesn't leave the house, right? We didn't have social media to share stuff, and unless it was on the
Mhm.
news, you didn't know about it. So I learned to suppress my feelings. My mom was really tough, great mother, but just tough. Like, unless you're bleeding or you broke a bone, get up and keep going, right? So I just learned how to suppress everything that's happened to me throughout my life. I was living a different life, right? Like, I was forming into somebody that I was supposed to be, especially when you're a soldier. And then when I left that, there was somebody else. Now I needed to learn who I was. So there's always that wall between my life. One that was raised to be, and one that I thought I was supposed to be. So, and then it all came falling down after I lost that uniform to hide everything.
Wow. Wow. It's powerful, and it's just so true. And I'm sure you've had a lot of people come up to you and say that they can relate to that. So, hi, Aunt. Thank you for hanging out and joining us in tonight's conversation. We appreciate you stopping by. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, Mackenzie, that's what you're here for. You're the best. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, I just wanted to, bring up the book because, I mean, I kind of could understand with that wall just because I can relate, but I wanted you to explain it, and I wanted to hear it from your words. So
I
that was it.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Now you do also motivational speaking. Like, you've been out there, and all this prompted you to get out there and also speak.
I did because I think it was important to hear it from someone on the inside, who served and is out, because there's a lot of soldiers out there who are trying to be tough and hide everything and not report anything, and they're trying to be a tougher version of themselves. And we are taught to be strong, but then where's that line to where you're allowed to feel. And so the last time I spoke in person was in California at a reserve unit, and there was a soldier who stood up and was like, I really wanted to end my life, because I'm going through all this stuff and I don't know how to deal with it. And so you just don't know who's out there who needs to hear that you can make it, and not just their first sergeant again giving that speech. And that's fine, but sometimes you need to hear like from a real, I don't want to say a real person, but someone who's been there, like
Right.
be
Yeah.
authentic and be vulnerable and be like, yeah, I'm going through this too. You don't have to put up that front. One of the things that inspired me the most was my former division commander. He wrote the forward on my book, Major General Batard. He was in an article in 2009 where he talked about suicide and depression. And when I read that article, I immediately reached out to him and I was like, oh my God, like we need more general officers to lead. You need to lead from the top down, lead from the front, and be real with your troops and show them that yes, I'm a two-star and I do all these great things, but I'm I'm dealing with a lot. He dealt with a lot. We never knew all the things that he did for us. And so he really inspired me to keep going and share this story that it yes, I was a field grade officer and I spent all these years in, but man, there was some stuff behind the scenes that no one knows about. And I try to still be respectful because my husband's still he's still serving, and he is a brigade commander, so I try to respect some privacy and respect his position, but I will speak on mine, and share that, and share my story, because there you do get people look at you sideways sometimes, like, you're a brigade commander's wife, oh my God, like you shouldn't be talking about this, or how come this and how come that.
Hmm.
I'm still a person and I'm not going to kiss anybody's ass. I'm sorry. like
Ooh.
like the way our family is made up right now, and he's over there and I'm over here. That's our business and that's what we do. But there's um I'm still a real person, and we still have kids and we still have a life. And so people need to know that. But that's the perception you get sometimes when you're in the military, is you're not supposed to hang out with enlisted. You're not supposed to hang out with, what I mean? There's all these rules and things that you're not supposed to do. And so that life is hard. It's very, very hard. So no matter what rank you are.
No, I
And
mean, it's fairly rigid. It's very strict, and it's not easy for a lot of individuals. It's very difficult. So, oof. But I'm so glad you had somebody like that could really encourage you and could see the real humanness in you, because that is so important. And I love that's such a fine line. It's so hard to get to that line.
mhm.
Um the emotional part, the expressing what you can express, what you can't express, right? Personal sentiment, personal expression, as opposed to military, right? What, like you said, what was the lifestyle that you're supposed to lead and the example that you're supposed to set.
Yes.
So,
You can't
um,
win. You can't make everybody happy. You can't. And so, you just
yeah, well, but your mental health, like that's the most important part here. I think that I it saddens me at how mental health has been not really taken seriously, right? Um and really preserved, and it just hasn't been the forefront of importance really into the military and those active duty members and their families and their dependents, and just how it affects so many. So it really is such a different lifestyle, and to not acknowledge the humanness, those emotions, all the things that we go through, the grieving, the loss, the moving, the even the loss of self, right? Your identity, and then having
Mhm.
to refine it, the confusion that goes behind that. So it's just, I mean, it's your work is so important. And I just, I don't know, it just takes my breath away because it really is, if there's more organizations, more nonprofits that can provide support to our service members, to our veterans, to our retired personnel, or, even disability or not, right? I mean,
Right.
just no matter what, but there's just, and then we haven't even like really talked about other issues that come into when they're civilians, and the homelessness and the mental health and the VA care, the health care. So
No.
the fight continues, girl. The fight will
Yes.
continue. A
Yes. Yes, for sure.
lot of work to be done.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
appreciate you. All right, all right. Let's see. So yeah, Kenny, thank you so much. Never apologize for not kissing ass. Kenny never will. He never will. He says that, and that's just the way he is. I never apologize for that either. Oh my goodness, that is so 30 minutes. Okay. Well, normally, if I had a sponsor, we would be shouting out our sponsor right now. So, again, I'm just going to give a quick shout out. If anybody wants to be a sponsor, we're here. But, Annette, I mean, it's just learning so much about you and really having these conversations to dig into the, the realness of it. Not the, I'm trying to can't be careful here. But again, when you're in uniform, you are in a role and you are representative of your country. So, and I understand that. And when you take off that uniform and you start to really like examine yourself, how hard it can be. And I just, what can we do to help veterans? Like, what things can we do to support our community, our local veterans?
That's so touchy, and it's just so difficult because
Yeah.
unfortunately you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped, if
Yeah.
I, or if they're just not ready, but they're listening. So if you just continue to share your own story, you never know who's listening or reading your whatever your posts and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I have a lot of people who do that. They'll reach out to me on Instagram and say, I'm not a really big commenter, but I just want you to know that I'm reading your stuff. So you just
Aw.
don't know. That's when it really gets me. So the nonprofits are amazing. We never had those years ago, who
Mhm.
all they want to do is help us. And so we just need to keep sharing that. They have these resources and they need
Yeah.
funding as well to keep providing those resources. And I think it's amazing. We are afraid. I say we because I know that I used Military One Source, I think, a few times, but I was deathly afraid my command was going to find out. So if you are still serving, there are nonprofits you can go to. And so that's for sure. I like to share about that.
Yes, that's important, and I really
Mhm.
think that, that's one of those things is like how we can help others find the resources they need in their local communities.
Mhm.
It's so hard to reach out in itself, right? Like to just pick up the phone, to just admit sometimes what you're going through. So, just encouraging to if so you're not so alone, at least finding an agency or a nonprofit local to you.
Yes.
Googling.
Yes.
Um, yeah. I wanted to ask you about your podcast because when you were
Oh,
talking about it, it made me think of it. And I want to know about your podcast and tell us a little bit about that and what kind of stories you talk about, your guest stories, and some of the stuff you've taken away and how that translate into your whole, you know, business, entrepreneur, presence, work.
So I started the podcast called The Truth We Hide almost
Mhm.
3 years ago now.
Mhm.
And it really just it resonated with me the most because, the truths that I hid all my life. And so I wanted to, it was going to be veteran focused, but I had a lot of people reach out and say, you have to be military affiliated because I have a story to tell. And I said, let's do it. Let's just, like I said before, just
Mhm.
PTSD, all that stuff does not just affect veterans, it affects everyone. So
Right.
the guests on my show, you can't even imagine the stories of being a sex trafficker or um, abducted, or just all these
Mhm.
things that they held on to and they're ready to share it. So I just, like you, we just provide a
Right.
platform for them to use their voice.
All right. The truths we hide. I'm looking at it and it's you have it on your website. And
Yes.
where else can they find it? Is it just on your website or do you have it?
No, you can. It's really on just about every platform you stream from. So iTunes and Spotify and
Awesome.
Amazon. Yeah. So yep, everywhere.
Yeah, you're way past 142 episodes. Congratulations. That
Thank
is
you.
no easy feat,
No,
but it is
you.
rewarding.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. It's good to be able to give people that space.
Mhm. I know. Absolutely love streaming for that reason and having these conversations and they're not recorded and edited, but that's not me. I just like it raw. So,
That's exactly it. I used to get really overwhelmed because I do my own editing, I do my own marketing and all that stuff, right? So I was so focused on trying to make it not perfect but good enough. And so that's when I went into live, like you, because you know what, you just need to see the real deal. We're not, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is real life now, and you can have your dogs
yeah.
barking in the background if you need to, because it's just real. We don't have studios, like, you need to show people that you can do it too. You don't have to be in a studio with professional equipment.
Yeah. Right.
Expensive $100 worth of stuff. Man, I got my stuff off of Amazon, and it's been working for me fine. So, it's little things like that to show people that you can do it.
Yeah. And your support system, friends that can help you out along the way. So,
Yes.
you got to put yourself out there. And that's
Hmm.
usually like the hardest part.
Yeah.
So, I think this is going to be a great segue into talking about independent artists and this new stuff you're doing because this is hard. You're another transition,
Yes.
something else that's on your plate that you're juggling aside from the podcast. You still have your blog. Are you still speaking? Are you have or because of the pandemic you just haven't, but you might get back out on the circuit?
I mean, I still do virtually for right now,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
school is a priority until I'm done.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay. How much
Yeah.
left you got on school?
So
You doing good?
7 more weeks.
Oh, okay. Good, good, good.
Almost
And
done.
it's summer. It's summer, so you're hitting the books during summer.
I know. Yeah, there's no joke. It's so the program is veterans are able to apply for a program called the VRAP, and I forgot what it stands for, but if you look it up, it'll show you all about it.
Yeah.
You can apply, and if you get accepted, you get up to 12 months of school for free, based off of the schools that they have collaborated with. So the school that I applied to is the Musicians Institute out of Hollywood, California. And so I just to tell you the process real quick,
Yeah.
it wasn't just fill out an application and we'll let you know. It's fill out the application, provide 2 songs that you wrote yourself and composed. So it's like an audition, and then they'll let you know if you get in. And I was like, I don't sing. I
I was just
barely
gonna ask. I
I
was just gonna be like, do you sing? Would
I
that be even dumb to ask?
no, I can sing, but I was not to try to get into the school.
Okay.
So I requested the help from 2 of my friends who are singers and guitar players. I wrote the song and they sang them, and I literally cried. So I got accepted, but this program This independent artist program is either a 12-month course or 18-month course. The school pays for 12. No, it's no, sorry. It's only an 18-month course, but if you are doing it through the VRAP, it's 6 months because the VRAP pays for 12.
Expediter.
So yeah, so they pay for 12, and if I paid for the last 6 months, it would have cost me thousands of dollars. So I said, okay, let's do the 6 month program. And so I am learning so much. In the
Good.
in the end, I'm focusing on songwriting. So I want to write songs for other people, and I'm learning how to compose them, and then I'm gonna learn how to represent myself if I want to, not if, when I get out
Yeah.
there and put my music on Spotify. So it's been crazy. So my thing is I want to use your words, and I want to create music from it when it comes to dealing with mental health. So I
Yeah.
know that there's artists out there like Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato who sing their own songs about their mental health, but I want to use other people's words and make them realize that they could turn their trauma into, something that's beautiful. And so that's what
Yeah.
I want to do. But it's no joke. It really is. Every night, 3 days a week, 3 nights a week, 8 classes. So it's hard. My teachers are, I mean, they've done this for 20 plus years. They work with some really great artists. One of the students that graduated from this school is the girl, she was on TikTok. She's saying, "I Am Woman." If you hear that song, look it up. It's a powerful song, but she went to that school, and there's just so many things. I'm like, okay, I could do this. I could do this. So there are times where I broke down and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But
So raw.
I'm getting better, leaning into my faith, really. So because I was raised Catholic, I know that God would not have put me through this brutal school for me not to make it at the other end. So I'm
Wow.
going to be an artist, y'all, and it's ridiculous.
Wow, I love it. Like you're just really going for it, going big, no fear, not holding back. Like you're just letting it all out now. And I love that. I hope
It's
your daughters, right? You have two daughters?
I have one daughter and a son.
One daughter and a son. Okay, your
Yeah.
two kids. I hope they're like excited for you and they're like, go mom, go mom.
They just, when I complain and I'm like, I'm so tired and blah blah blah, I don't get sympathy. They are hard asses. They
Oh,
said, you wanted to do this, mom, so you need to do it. And
all
so no,
right.
I don't get any. There's nope, nope.
No.
One of the
Wow.
one of the beautiful things though about this is that my daughter and I have written 3 songs together and composed them, and she sings them. So it's really, to see her talent come out is amazing. But she wants to be FBI, so there's no future in singing for her. But she'll do my songs. So
That's nice. That's
so
sweet.
yeah, no, it's awesome because
Some
you
bonding.
could take a heartache and pain and create a song out of it, and that's what we did. So I want to give that inspiration to other people.
Yeah, I love that what you were talking about is taking their words and really you turn it into a song of healing, right?
Yes.
Like just that process and that journey and just being part of that for someone, being beside them, next to them. It's just part of what I love to do is sitting next to someone like and helping them on their journey. And
Yeah.
Josiah was here earlier, but he referred to that feeling as well. And his show and his episode when he's helping someone self-publish and you're watching them and guiding them and they're having to go through all these feelings and all these emotions and finding the words and can I do this and who's going to listen to this and who's going to read this and nobody wants all those limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves, but
Well,
and I know
go ahead.
oh no, but I mean that's it, like you just have to keep going and have faith right in yourself and just not let all that stuff stop you, not give
It's
in to that.
No, absolutely. I mean, I do suffer from imposter syndrome once in a while. You know, some days are harder than others. And so
Yeah.
that could take over your mind. You know, like, what am I doing in music school? Like, I'm not going to be the next Beyonce. But you know what? I'm going to be the first of this. You know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
need to give myself credit because my song won't be the same as others. And so we just need to go and start that podcast or write that song or do whatever and
Do it.
just do it regardless if it
Just
turns
do it.
into a business or a hobby or whatever. So I don't know where this is going to go, but it's becoming real because I have my artist name already and I'm creating my logo and like it's ridiculous.
Oh,
So yeah. So stay
so
tuned.
when are you going to be dropping all that? Like, do you have a time frame already? Like next month or in a couple weeks?
Um it before the first of the year, I'll have at least
Okay.
one song
Okay.
out. Yeah.
All right. And you said, wait, you have 7 weeks of school left?
Yes. I have 7 weeks
Okay.
of school left. I'm still editing my songs, so it's
Yeah.
not ready to be posted on Spotify
I
yet.
know, but I'm
So,
so
but
excited.
yeah.
I gotta say, like, you inspire me, like, listening to you, I'm feeling so inspired, like, okay, because I have that same kind of imposter syndrome. I think so many of us do. So
Mhm.
to say I don't have that, that would be a lie. So the truth is, like, yeah, I freak myself out saying, oh gosh, am I this? Can I do this? Can I be this? Can I be a speaker? Can I be a poet? Can I be a painter? Can I be a musician? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Why can't I? I guess the
You're,
question is, why can't I? Why can't
exactly.
I be that? So,
You're right.
again, it's about perspective, I guess.
Just do it. I thought I was too damn old. I mean, there's like three of us that are older than all these other kids that are in their 20s. You know,
Right.
they've already done their songs and they have these beats and rapping and all that. And I'm like, I don't even know what a key signature is. So it's just, you can still do it. If that's what you want
Right?
to do, just go do
I
it.
love I love that message. I love that message. Don't hold back. Don't give into those limiting beliefs. Try to overcome those dark moments and know that there is light waiting ahead.
There
You're not
is.
alone. There's somebody out there that is thinking of you and wanting to for you to succeed. You know?
There
Someone's going to
is.
want to hear that song when it's done. Someone's going to need to hear that song. Someone's going to need to see that painting. Someone's going to need to read that book, and it's going to be changing for them.
Hmm.
So
You're
you don't
right.
know if you don't pursue it and follow that. So I get
Yeah.
it. I love that. I love that. I mean, I try to be as optimistic in that sense and not to let the fears take a hold, but you have to look at it from the perspective of this is going to impact somebody else and it's not about me and it's not my story really. It's their story. It's our story.
Right. We're all going to go through that and it's normal. You know, it's okay to have that day where you're like, I just can't do it and I don't know why I'm doing it. But then tomorrow you'll get it back again. So
Yeah.
you have to. Yeah. Just try it.
Yeah.
Just try it
I
at least once.
Yeah, I agree. I think as we get older, this is
Mm,
more frequent. It's harder to kind of put ourselves out there and morph. And if you look at like even pop stars, they have to continuously change and evolve and grow in the
yeah.
sense for, their artistry, what they're doing. And I know that the same goes for us. So we can't be put all those again, those thoughts like, oh, well, we're too old to try something new like that and sit with a bunch of 20-year-olds and feel like the competitiveness, like trying to just overcome and not look at it like that's your competition, because it's again, that's not what it's about, right?
No, because you know what? You can learn from them. I've learned so much from these
Yeah.
younger kids in class.
Yeah.
They give you that inspiration because they know, and you're like, oh, I didn't think about it that way, or I didn't even know what that meant. So just take
That's
it like
awesome.
that. We're all going to learn from each other, and
Yeah.
we're not competing with them. They're doing something totally different. So, yeah.
Mm. Wow, you are doing a whole lot and I'm super excited to see what music you make.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this next year is going to be your big pop star year. What kind of music? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I
Oh.
maybe it's not pop, maybe it's not pop or it's songwriting, but
It's a little of everything. I mean,
it's a little
we
bit of
grew up with
everything.
what, Stevie Nicks, and I still like Adele. So you know what I mean? It's like a little, just we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. It might
Yeah,
be
I love
alternative
it.
rock. Who knows?
Might have a band.
I
Right, might
know.
have
Who
a band.
knows?
You could be tuning around the cameraman. You're gonna have Chris as your cameraman. You're gonna have like your
Yep.
band. You're gonna have your dancers. Woo! I can't wait. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes,
Aw,
we will see what
aw.
happens.
Yeah. Well, but I love like the purpose and really like the meaning behind it because that is really special and unique. And the fact that it's so for me socially conscious, right? Like there's such a deeper meaning to it. And I know like for artists, like their music is their like they're pouring their heart, right? Like they really
Mhm.
put everything they got into their music. But with yours being that you're really focusing on mental health or trauma and helping people find their words to their story so they can express it like in a song, that's just so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. What else? What else? I don't know if I have any other questions. I think, we talked about your book, talked a little bit about the podcast. I got some information on this independent artist. Uh, I can't wait to see what happens with that. I guess it's interesting to see how we all kind of try to overcome these things in our
Mhm.
life. I've found that I love listening to how people get past it and dig deep and find their way, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That always touches me. And when you know that you're speaking with someone that may have not been here, now you see what they're doing and how important the work is. It's just incredible. And I just absolutely appreciate you spending an hour with me here after all this stuff that you're doing. And you said you have school 3 days a week. So that in itself is madness.
It could be worse. Last quarter it was 4 days a week. So I'm like, ooh,
Oh,
okay. It could be worse. It could always be worse. So I'm just like you said, we're finding the positive of things, right? So
yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Let's see. Well, I don't know. Let me close this. I don't know. We should be keep talking for like another 10 minutes or something, but I just feel like I don't know if I should these questions, if I should do something fun. If I have any other I'm
Hmm.
trying to rack my brain to see if there's any questions that I wanted to ask you, but I'm going to ask you one of these silly questions so we don't
Okay.
end on such a heavy note cuz we had fun at Podfest and you're a podcaster and you're doing your virtual speaking and stuff. So we'll just do like something fun to kind of something fun. All right. Now, did you got cards? Did you get these cards? You didn't get these cards.
I got the other ones.
You got the other ones. Okay, so that means you haven't seen these. That's all that
No.
meant. All right. The first question, this is silly. Have you ever been bitten or attacked by an animal? And
Oh
if
God.
so, what and why?
Okay, so it wasn't really an attack. It was just an accident. It was a few days ago. And I'm babysitting,
Yeah.
or somehow I acquired two more dogs. My daughter's puppy dogs had babies. Two of them were adopted. I have two, but so the parents are visiting. Plus, I have the two puppies. Plus, I have my other three dogs. They love to play with the hose. When I was in the backyard, I was spraying them, and they go crazy and wild, and it's so fun. Well, the dad wanted to really get onto the hose, and he bit me. He grabbed onto the nozzle and onto my finger, and we thought I was gonna have to have stitches. I was like bleeding out everywhere. So that was my little attack. I wasn't like viciously attacked by any animal. That was my latest little fun adventure here, playing with dogs and water.
Yeah. I think I got a little cat scratch from an outdoor cat, and then I freaked out because like it's an outdoor cat. Yes. That like so I was just like, oh no, it's a cat I don't know, and all the things you read, all the things you
Yeah,
read. So
exactly.
tetanus shot, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, soap and water, you name it. It's like try to keep it clean. I don't need no infection.
I know. It's my daughter was crying. She's like, I don't want to have to put him
Oh
down. It wasn't his fault. He was just
no.
playing. I'm like, I'm not putting him down. I am not putting him down over this. It was not a big deal.
No.
So yeah, she felt bad for days.
Yeah. Well, I got 3 dogs, so I get it. I get it. And I got big dogs, so I have big dogs, so it's like, and I've been bitten once or twice, so I get it, Rescue dogs. It
Yes.
happens. That happens. But they're older now. I'm waiting for them to cross Rainbow Bridge, and I
Oh,
will say, like, I did my duty as a good rescue pet owner when it's like what is it? You give them their forever home. I've done that.
yes,
I did
yes.
that. I lived through the whole forever home thing, and that's so I'm ready to be pet free for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you want to take a break. There's a
I
lot of
know.
care and expenses and maintenance and all that
Ugh,
stuff. And
you're right.
having a
It's not cheap.
yeah, it's not easy. It's not cheap. But again, there's the therapeutic side of it, like, just having your pup or your cat or your pet or whatever little furry friend you have or not. But or
Right.
reptilian. I don't know. Everybody has different
Well,
pets.
yeah.
I've never had any like weird pets, like odd exotic pets.
Me
I'm
either.
not. I haven't had that. So
No.
to each their own. Yeah, no. Okay, I did have a question. It came to me. This will be the last question of the night. Nothing serious, but this is a show about mental health, and we're both mental health advocates. And you've shared like just so much you do, and so many things that you're involved in. So I'll just kind of end with the asking about self care and like, how do you relax? What do you do to really take care of yourself and keep yourself mentally well? And
I have so music, of course. Every time
okay,
I sit at my computer, I always make time to listen to at least 2 or 3 songs on Spotify that I can listen to it
okay,
15,000 times. That's before I start any work. And Netflix and Hulu are my best friends. I have
okay.
recently started making time to get my hair done, get a facial, pedicure, whatever. I even if I have to like in between classes. I'll be right back. Yeah, I just, it's just
Good.
little things like that just to get out of the house or I just love I
Good.
was addicted to Stranger Things for a little bit. I watched the whole entire thing so I knew what I was talking about or knew what they were talking about. I restarted Friends from what, 15 years ago. Um
You
it
do a lot.
I just I so anytime I had
Love
the
it.
chance, I would just watch an episode or three, because it was just stupid funny. Like you just want
Mhm,
to not think, and you just want
mhm.
to laugh at something just so corny to you, where
I
you're
play
like,
video games.
I mean, you know, my son does that. I don't know anything about video games, but yeah. So, what kind of
And I
video games do you
garden.
play? You garden?
I, I garden too. I've been playing Mario. I've been
Oh,
like on the Switch. So
yeah.
I've been playing that. I like my Fortnite every once in a while. Fortnite's
Okay.
fun. So
Okay.
it's but I do like video games. I find that kind of like that. And Netflix. So I'll definitely and I like documentaries or I
Yeah.
like those like the nature shows with the what's his name? Atten it doesn't matter. The nature shows where it's like really soothing and they show the fish and the water and then the trees. So
Oh,
I like kind of stuff like that, and I like to keep
yeah.
that. And I do love good old reality shows. I haven't watched TV or like reality shows in a long, long time. I think as an entrepreneur, as yeah, David Attenborough. Thank you. That's exactly who I was talking about. So like those shows, like I find them so calming and relaxing. And I love nature, love to garden. There's a plant. So I that's what I do when I get away from the computer. And since I'm in Florida, it's usually a water activity. So it's like, go paddleboarding or something like that.
Oh,
But
that's fun. That's good.
yeah, I gotta make time for that. I hope you're making time for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Mackenzie says I had a bunch of weird pets. Okay, hey, yeah, I didn't. I've just, I think we had a Chihuahua, like the typical Hispanic pet was like we had some chihuahuas. So the stereotype, it's terrible. I know. Now I have pit bulls, another stereotypical dog, and that's again terrible. But they are so sweet and they are so loving, and I rescued them, and I'm
Oh,
really proud of that. So
yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I think self care is just one of those really good spots to end and, just say again, thank you and give you back your time. And thanks for sharing your story, deeply personal and so important.
Thank you so
Those,
much.
yeah, those stories really need to be voiced out there. There's so many soldiers, so many men and women active duty or retired or veterans that really just don't know what to do and they feel so alone and they feel like they've completely have lost themselves and then like they're trying to refine themselves. So the work must continue. And if I can help in any way, let me know because I'm here to cheer you on, Annette.
I will. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, my dear. Well, I guess that's it. I lied about the last question. Where can everybody find you and who should contact you?
You can go to my website, awildridecalllife.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. And I have all kinds of people contact me, whether you just want to be heard or if you want to talk or you want advice or whatever the case is. I'm here.
Okay, good. All right. Well, reach out to Annette for anything. Anything. Okay, thanks, Mackenzie. It has been a wonderful conversation. So good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna throw up my outro and we're gonna wave good night. Good night, everybody.
Bye.